Hello, I'm Harvey Godwin Jr., Chairman of the Lumbee Tribe, and I'm here at the Adolph Dahl Amphitheater where Strike at the Wind is performed at the Lumbee Tribe Culture Center. And today I'm with Nakya Littleturtle and Nakya Leviner. Both of them have been involved from the beginning, as you know, to put Indian actors at the Lost Colony in Nakya. So they just finished their first season, the 84th season, and Nakya played Nakya. Nakya was very instrumental from the beginning, helped recondition the music, the dances, the script, recruitment of actors and talent, and following up with the talent all summer long, a rough summer. And I just wanted to bring them in today just to get a perspective of how they felt the show went, how the process went, and what they can look forward to next season. So, Nakya, let's start with you. When we first started this conversation, I don't know, 15 months ago, ever how long it was, with the chairman of the board, Kevin Bradley, of the Roanoke Island Historical Association board chair. Did you really think that we could get Indian actors on stage during COVID in less than a year?
Yeah, so I was in the production almost 10 years ago, and when the chairman and the Lost Colony production team, when we got together to have this conversation about putting the full native cast for the first time onto the stage, it was a big, monumentous moment for me. It was important for the fact that we were going to get equal representation, appropriate representation on that stage. We had a lot of different conversations, of course, about COVID, about safety, about getting that participation, because there's a lot of things that we needed to show the Native community, and so they understood that appropriate and respectful changes were being made. I started making phone calls to close personal friends of mine that I knew had strong traditional values and traditional talents, and we were able to get a really strong team together from our communities and other Native communities across the state to go and participate and represent down there in the Lost Colony.
And how many Native actors actually ended up performing?
We actually ended up having 13 overall over the summer, and they served in different capacities, from powwow style dancing to traditional style dancing, singing, just a lot of different things. We also had members that helped in wardrobe, helped with set up with the stage. We were very much ingrained in the entire aspect of the production over the summer.
And at least 8 of those actors were Lumbee, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think there was a misconception from some of the people who felt like the beginning was part of Lumbee or Hatteras Indian tradition, the dances, but that was actually just a showcase of dances, wasn't it?
Yeah, the beginning part was choreographed by Mr. Jared, who is Navajo and Tlingit. He came in as a associate choreographer, and so what Jeff Whiting wanted to do, the director of the play, he wanted to open up the play with more of a contemporary and an upbeat representation of our culture, the kind of culture that we're showcasing in the 21st century. And one of the biggest mainstream cultural movements that we have is powwow, and a lot of Native and non-Native people they know us through that powwow way, that powwow movement. And so the creative team thought it would be appropriate and fun to actually start the show with powwow style dancing, which is dancing that's done all over Indian country. It's not Southeastern specific.
And from what I hear, the audience is each and every night, the powwow style dancing was well received.
It was, and also too, just a fun fact, we did also have Eastern specific dancing as part of the powwow dancing, but that wasn't the only portion.
Right. So there's a piece of music in the beginning, especially during the killing of King Wingina, where there's flute music in there, and I understand that you actually recorded that flute music. That was actually you, and you sang in that in some of the music, right?
Yes, sir. So the creative team, the production team, had me over the course of the rehearsal period record different tracks that was used, so that we had good traditional and historically accurate music to be used in the production. So I, along with War Paint Singers, recorded the powwow intro, and then there was other original compositions that I created for the outdoor drama, such as the war dance scenes, and then the passing song and things of that nature. So all of that was appropriate and authentic native singing for the very first time in the production's history. It was all appropriate and authentic.
Well, I want to thank you, because if it had not been for you and your talents and being at the tribe during this current administration and your past history with the play, we probably wouldn't have been able to do this. I know I couldn't have done it by myself and put it together, so it took a team, and I just want to thank you for leading that team, because if you hadn't have been there, this certainly wouldn't have happened. So thank you so much for all your efforts. And I just think it was a great experience, because we put our best foot forward, and the show turned out to be a great show. But the native part of the show was completely different than in the past, but more authentic, like you said. But it was more powerful, and it represented our people well. So thank you so much.
One thing to add to that is that since our people's participation in this outdoor drama, there has been many different opportunities, theatrical opportunities, that have come our people's way, and we've been able to recommend and put a lot of our performing arts people in different positions across the United States now, because they've been reaching out to the Lumbee tribe because they saw the success that we did at the Lost Colony Outdoor Drama over the summer. And one of the things that's so important to me, and that I believe is going to be the big overall thing from this, is that we're going to be able to take all this talent that we're being able to cultivate in our community, and we're going to be able to strengthen our own outdoor drama here at Strike at the Wind. Right. And moving forward, we're going to be able to have an amazing production from that, because of the training and the connections that we're building all over the performing arts connections across the United States. So I'm very happy that our people went and did this, because it's going to have a huge effect over everything that we do moving forward.
I'm glad you brought that up, because, you know, a few of my passions are dramatic arts and visual arts and cultural arts, and also Strike at the Wind. But there is ongoing communications and collaborations of the future, to where Strike at the Wind and the Lost Colony will collaborate together. We're hoping that in the future that the Lost Colony will be able to bring their production right here to where we're standing right now and performing the Lost Colony drama right here, and that we'll be able to take the Strike at the Wind to Manio on their stage and perform Strike at the Wind. So I don't see that's going to be too far in the distant future, but when that happens, that's going to be a total enlightenment to not just the audience, but to all the actors and all the people that are collaborating on this for social and cultural enlightenment, and that's what the end result will be. So thank you so much. These are exciting times for Strike at the Wind and the Lost Colony. So Nakya,
yes, sir.
When I was there opening night and I saw you dance and play the role of Manio, I was so, I mean, it just stole my heart away. My heart just soared that whole night watching you do that. And then some of the photographs I saw, I mean, you took your powwow dancing and your cultural dancing to a whole nother level. And every time you did that quick foot movement, you were kicking beach sand up in the air and getting those shots. It was magnificent. But tell me, what was it like for you, for a first-time actor on that stage, playing an important role as Manio? As you know, there's Manio and Wanchese. This town still exists. They were very famous leaders when the colonists first came. But what was it like for you to play that role night after night, and especially that grueling rehearsal schedule you had to go through?
It was nervous at first. It was a nervous position to be in at first, but the more we went through rehearsal period, the more we got comfortable with it. It just felt like secondhand nature at that point. But the beginning process of it was a tough one, just getting used to everything and how everything goes. And I'm the type of person where at first, before I got there, you couldn't put a microphone in my hand and ask me to speak, much less being one strapped to my head. So yeah, it was a tough point at first, but once we got comfortable and got to where we could work things out on time and on the spot, I mean, it was good.
I think that the night before the opening night, you remember we had that spiritual blessing. We brought Reggie Brewer up and John Oxendine, and we had just a big session of smudging and collaboration and communications, and they listened, the whole cast and everyone, the board listened to our perspective, and we listened to their perspective, and I think that was a good start for the opening night. Did you feel that carried through the season?
I did. Like you said, the cast was all connected to it when we was talking and doing the smudging ceremony, and I could truly say that carried with the rest of the cast the whole way through the season.
Right. How do you feel about next year?
I feel good about next year. I feel like it's going to be as strong as it was this year, if not even more. And with the changes that we made, not only this year, but the quick changes that we also made this year, it would be more moving forward for next year.
So, Kia, getting back to Strike to Win and these collaborations and actors and what Nakya and the rest of the natives did this summer, I mean, they didn't do this for free. They were paid to do this. So this is really job creation. This collaboration has done, provided employment for our people all summer long, and going to provide more employment. But tell me, when last November we brought in some of our Lumbee people that went and performed, were models for advertisement, and you saw some of those on the poster this time. Mr. Sampson and John Ox 9 were in a lot in some of their publications. But Nakya, did they film you guys or photograph you guys for the upcoming advertisement? How did that go, or did y'all do that?
Yeah, so right there towards the rear end of our season, we had a photo shoot one night after one of our plays, and basically that photo shoot was for the next 5 years. Our native cast, the Lumbee cast, will be the face of the Lost Colony on their PR material.
Well, that's really impressive. I've told some other stories before about the rollout big advertisement that we had at homecoming from the Lost Colony, and people were taking selfies with it. But I tell you, the most impressive thing for me was when we were going out to the Lost Colony. They had these big billboards when you get out in the rural area, about 45 minutes to an hour out. And there's this big, giant billboard, the Lost Colony, and there's a Lumbee standing there as the depiction of that billboard of the Lost Colony. Now that's impressive for us, and it gives us a lot of visibility. So I'm glad you guys got to do that. I'm looking forward to seeing those photographs, and not just hopefully the next couple of weeks, but for 5 years to come. You heard Kaya say that he performed 10 years ago, but that was one person, one native in there, and now this was full cast native. Did you ever feel any added weight on your shoulders to know that you're out there for the first time making this kind of change, not only at Manio, but in North Carolina, and really across the nation? You and the rest of the native actors were a part of this movement, this social enlightenment and social acknowledgement. How did you guys discuss that any at all amongst yourselves?
A few of us briefly thought about it, but it wasn't really a big problem in our heads thinking about it. More or less, we were there together, brothers and sisters there together, and we were gonna fight it all the way through, whatever problem we had and faced. But yeah, there were some times to where I sat back and thought, well, not just me being here, but us being here. We're in a tight spot, and it could be tight. We just plan it out and go with the flow. So yeah, there was times where I sat back, me personally, thought about those things. But like I said, us as a team, we were all there. So any troubles that we came through, any position where we had to work things out, we'd do it as a team.
That's a great response to that, and I'm glad to hear you share that with us. I felt like sitting back here that I was a part of a team and a collaboration that made it possible for you guys to be on stage. And I often worried at night, are they okay, and how are they being treated? How's the audience perceiving them? Are they listening to any off-color remarks or anything like that? But you don't think you experienced anything like that, any of that negativity?
Not really. Knowing it being a new area for a whole lot of the native cast members, you know, a lot of us really don't get out of Robeson County somewhat unless we have to, you know. But with it being a new area, it was kind of quick adjustments we had to make. And as far as going out in the public and getting treated as good. I mean, we were pretty good.
Well, I tell you, it received a lot of press, and you know, I did some interviews, and Kevin Bradley and I did some interviews together, but everything was so positive, and I've been out there Outer Banks a couple of times this summer, and even in a restaurant we went into, people knew who we were, and some of the tech team that was there, and when they first set it up, and they had done their job, and they were going back to New York. They were in the restaurant that morning, and they just openly embraced us, my family and I myself, and just how proud they were of the changes that have been made. But I have to tell you, Nakya, I was just so proud of what you did and the rest of the, and all the Native actors, but in particular Lumbee actors, how well you represented us and how well you did in this kind of environment, in a COVID environment at that. And let me just ask you that. What did you have to do to deal with the COVID as an actor? I mean, did y'all have to test, or what was that process like?
Yeah, as far as the COVID situation, as far as being an actor and with my summer this year, it was we pretty much worked on it pretty good and kept an eye on protocols when it came to COVID. We would get tested every 2 days the first couple of weeks, and then it would slack down just a little bit, but we would go at least two days a week. And as far as besides the testing, as far as being out in the public, anywhere we went besides, even at the theater and at rehearsal period, I mean, we would, at home, the theater, we would wear masks, but especially when we went out to the public, we would wear masks, and when you came back home, you was okay.
I think it's amazing that they went through the whole rehearsals month and then the whole season up until the last week before any of the actors actually contracted COVID, and I think it turned out being several more, and then they shut down that last week for the safety of everyone, which was, in my opinion, the right decision to make. But I'm glad you came back, all of you, healthy and safe to us, to your stronghold, and I just want to thank you all again for everything you've done. And I know that this coming season, now I'm kind of officially on the board of Roanoke Island Historical Association. I'm proud to be on that board for the next few years, and I'm ending my term here as tribal chairman, but I'm looking forward to the next administration embracing the progress that's been made and the collaborations that have been created and going forward. And I look for you guys' help in the coming months to recruit more Native actors to go, because we need more. We had the number we had, but you really need 2 for each part. So we need to double the number we had. So it's challenging staying out there. I have to give it to you, Nakya. Going away from home and staying out there, that grueling rehearsal schedule, and then you did the show, 6 nights a week?
6 nights a week.
Unbelievable. Well, thank you so much, Kaya. Thank you again. It wouldn't have been possible without you, and I'm just proud that we were able to do this at this point in time in our history of the Lumbee tribe. God bless you, and thank you.